My name is Moriarty, and welcome to my channel. I had a bit of a different video planned for this week, but I've had pretty much every single technical problem you could possibly imagine. So what I'd like to do instead of what I had planned is talk a little bit about Betty White. As I'm sure you're aware now, as this is coming out several days after the fact, Betty White passed away several days shy of her 100th birthday, although I think everyone has kind of collectively decided that she gets the full 100. And I saw a lot of people talking about it on Twitter. Particularly, one thing that I saw a lot was people saying that at least we showed her appreciation while she was still here. And I think that's really important because that's something that, by and large, as people, we don't do. We have a huge tendency of not realizing the great things and the great people we have in our lives until they're gone. Or until we almost lose them. I can think of a lot of my relationships where I just felt like the person that I was with wasn't very invested, but then I left, and then all of a sudden they were like, wait, I realized that you have all these great qualities. And I'm like, yeah, too little too late. And I feel like in our lives we do that for a lot of reasons. I mean, first, because especially my generation, when we were coming up, it was kind of cool to be cruel in a way, or at least it was cool to be cynical because a lot of people around us were just blind. They didn't really realize a lot of the things that were going on around them. So the cynicism of the millennial generation made a lot of sense for us, but at that same token, I don't think we really learned how to show each other affection in great ways. And I feel like I talk to a lot of my friends, and they, in general, do not know how their significant other feels about them, how other people in their life feel about them. And sure, some of that is definitely rooted in that person having a poor sense of self-image, but I think a lot more of it is just we, a lot of times, and obviously anything that is general isn't going to apply to everyone. So I'm sure there's people that are already angry in the comments. I always tell everyone how I feel and how much I love them and every little positive thing about them, blah, da, 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 da. In general, societally, we do not give credit or praise or affection to one another to the degree that we should. And part of that is because there's this weird thing where, like, if two people are of opposite genders, or if they're the same gender and they're gay, everyone just assumes that, like, they're together if they spend a lot of time together. And I think that's really harmful because a lot of my friends were with men, and a lot of those relationships or those friendships were always tempered by outsiders assuming that we were dating or we were going to date or I was interested in dating them, and that was never the case. And on the other hand, you have situations where if you don't know somebody that well and you're of the opposite gender, or again, I'm non-binary, so obviously I'm aware that these gender norms are very, very simplistic and heteronormative. However, people apply these stereotypes in heteronormative ways, so that's the best way to explain them, I guess. And then, like, when we are interested in a relationship with somebody, there's, like, the cat and mouse game, the do they, don't they, will they, won't they. As a neurodivergent person, I have always been hey, I am interested in you. Would you like to pursue something? These are the things I'd be interested in pursuing. And that's like how I vibe, but that's not how the general world vibes. And because of that, there's this weird cat and mouse game of a lot of flirting in a lot of cases. Because you often have people who are getting involved in a relationship in a scenario where it is maybe frowned upon for them to be dating, or maybe they don't want to show their hand too early. But the end result is just a lot of people don't really compliment one another a lot. People don't give each other the praise that they deserve. We don't tell each other how important they are to us, what they mean to us. Like, I cannot tell you the number of people that I've talked to in the past year who wished they would have had the opportunity to say something to somebody, and now for whatever reason they can't talk to that person. And I'm just hoping that we don't let that lesson die with Betty White, and we don't leave that lesson to just exclusively be for celebrities. Like, we need to look at everybody in our lives and be more appreciative of their own special, unique traits and abilities. Everybody has something good about them. Everybody has something that's worth noticing. And you don't have to be creepy or weird about it. And guys will come up to me and they will ask, well, you know, I always come off creepy when I talk to girls. And I think that is because people can tell when you are complimenting them, for their sake, so they will feel better. And they can also tell when you are complimenting them because you want to get in their pants, or not necessarily that, because of a selfish reason. A lot of creepy praise or a lot of unwanted praise comes from a selfish place. But if you are trying to figure out why your compliments may come across in a manner that you don't like, it's probably because the compliment is rooted in yourself and not the person that you're complimenting. I also really hope that with Betty White's passing that we don't decide that older women aren't funny, because there's just so much potential for comedy, and I would absolutely love to see more series that are based on the Golden Girls, or like the Golden Girls, that are, so many people could watch that show and find enjoyment out of it. It wasn't just for women, it wasn't just for elderly people, like everybody, the tons of people that I know have found value in that show. And I think that if Hollywood forgets that old women are funny, it would be sad. And I think it kind of already has, because you look at like the 80s and the 90s, and you look at like Mama's Family, and you know, and Golden Girls, and like there were a lot of comedy shows that were centered around older female characters, and nowadays there just aren't as many. There really aren't many at all. With Betty White gone, there's not that many older female comedians, and that's genuinely a sad thing. If you have watched this far, you must have enjoyed something, so you may as well like, comment, and subscribe. My next video is actually already filmed, so I can tell you what it's about, and it'll actually be the thing. My next video is about... what is my next video about? My next video is called The Thin Man, or Why Your Genius Detective Doesn't Have to Be an Emotionless Void.